I am in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, heading to the Milwaukee Public Museum. This is one of the great old style museums, but I found out it is turning to the dark side, which means they're completely changing their exhibits. I think they're changing buildings, and they're gonna, make it all interactive and stuff, which I hate that. So I want to see it while it's still in its original form, but hopefully this is all gonna be really good. So let's go check this place out. The museum opened in 1884, although its collections and early programming began with Milwaukee's German English Academy that was founded in 1851. This new building opened in 1962, and it's a fantastic building. I have no earthly idea why they want to move. Right at the entrance they have the Heber mammoth, one of the most famous and reproduced mammoths ever. The museum does own its bones, as it was discovered in nearby Kenosha County. This mammoth is so important because its bones do have several human-made cut marks, and the skeleton was found with human tools. The bone collagen is dated to 14,500 years ago. This evidence has played a big role in the debate about pre-Clovis human occupation in North America. The first exhibit is called A Sense of Wonder, and it's set up like an old-style late Victorian museum, seemingly uncurated and jam-packed with all sorts of cool taxidermy and artifacts from other lands. Back then there was much more emphasis on the more bizarre, rare, and beautiful relics, so museums were usually a much more vivid experience. I really like how they set this up here in a modern museum. This is Samson the Gorilla, a former celebrity of the Milwaukee County Zoo. He entertained visitors to the zoo for 3 decades, but suddenly died in 1981. But 25 years later, a museum taxidermist used photographs and Samson's life mask and skeleton to make this amazing, lifelike artificial reconstruction of the mighty Samson. Carl Dietz was on the museum's board a long time ago, and he really liked typewriters and amassed a massive collection of them. This is the father of taxidermy, Carl Akeley's first ever museum taxidermy diorama. Akeley worked at the Milwaukee Public Museum at the time, and he made this muskrat colony in a box. He went on to become a big-time taxidermist and sculptor, and he did a lot of the big taxidermy dioramas at the American Museum of Natural History and the Field Museum. Here's a display on numismatics, so there's a lot of very antiquated currency forms. This part will primarily be focused on the streets of Old Milwaukee and the European Village, two incredible indoor replica towns depicting life in different eras. I am really nervous that they're going to take these out, which is very criminal, so please bring these to the new museum. The Streets of Old Milwaukee was one of the first walkthrough dioramas ever made. The time is set at the turn of the century in downtown Milwaukee, the streets are darkened, and the lights are gas lit. The Streets of Yesterday here did inspire Alex Jordan Jr. to build his own Streets of Yesterday at the House on the Rock in Spring Green, Wisconsin, one of my favorite places on the planet. There's the fanciful Hotel Pfister. This is the sausage factory. Milwaukee had a lot of German immigrants, so there's going to be a lot of prominent German cultural aspects. You can ride a penny farthing bike. Most museums don't let you do this. They do actually suck. Who invented this? This is the printmaker shop. The Schlomer motor wagon here was the first gasoline-powered automobile designed in Wisconsin by a Milwaukee Cooper in 1892. Sitting in her rocking chair on the porch is the local celebrity Granny. She has sat on this porch for over half a century. She used to rock back and forth, but she doesn't anymore, and she also has a Twitter account now. This is the inside of the house. There's a kite stuck in the power lines. There's a police telephone box. This is where police used to be stationed. Here's the old-fashioned cinema playing some good old Charlie Chaplin. This is the toy store, filled with antique toys. This is an original memorial to the USS Maine, made out of the USS Maine. I think these plaques were mass-produced. I've located these in several cities. This weird eyeball sign tells you where the optometrist's office is located. This is the milliner shop. Here is the bar, filled with plentiful types of beers that were, and some still are, produced here in Milwaukee. Lab's drugstore, with lots of unquestionably safe substances to put in your body. The dry goods store. You can even go up on the second floor balcony of a building. This is so cool. The creepy wax figures really add to the ambiance. There's a photography studio in there. The camera does flash sometimes when you walk by. The barber shop. This is the Honor Log Cabin, an authentic home built in Soakville, Wisconsin by German immigrant Michael Honor. This is a replication of the Watson home, set in 1858. They were a free African-American couple. Sully was a former slave who was never able to read, but his wife Susanna could, and that's what she's doing. Black suffrage had gained popular support even in the 1840s here in Wisconsin, but it was never able to pass until 1866, 2 years before the 14th Amendment. This represents the home of an upper middle class Milwaukee family. And this is the machine and pattern shop. Again, please save the streets of old Milwaukee. I hope to return to this exactly as it is in the new building. I've now entered the European Village, which is a simulated European town. What's unique about this is that it does represent the homes and shops of 33 different European ethnicities in the late 19th century and early 20th century. This is the Slovene house. This is the home of an Eastern European Jewish family. The whole setup is beautiful. It's a very interesting fusion of so many European cultures, and there's a fountain. This is a statue of Padraig O'Connor, who was a beloved Irish storyteller here in Milwaukee. This is a Hungarian home. Ukrainian. This is a Russian home. This is Czech. Polish. Austrian. Italian. German. Latvian. This is a Swedish home. Norwegian. Danish. Dutch. Scotch. And here is an English home. The European Village is very unique and great to have here in America, so also please don't touch this Milwaukee Public Museum, leave it be. This wax diorama shows the sloop o' war Felicity, anchored here at Milwaukee in 1779. The site of Milwaukee was a Native American village with several tribes and some Frenchmen, and this shows a French trapper's cabin here among the Native Americans. This is a replica of the feathered dinosaur that apparently probably existed. That's really cool. It looks like this diorama has a velociraptor next to some archaeologists. It's gonna slaughter them. This is the Tree of Life, a big taxidermy display of all sorts of animals and plants, and it shows how everything is connected in so many different ways. Here are some jars of fun. They also have a butterfly conservatory that's really cool. There's so much more to this museum. This wasn't even the full first floor, so please make sure to check out part 2, and thanks for watching.